Hello and welcome to another Unlucky Frog Gaming review with your usual hosts, Josh Hartley and Ben Porter. How are we doing tonight, Ben?
We're doing alright.
What have we got in front of us here?
We have Koi.
Koi, if you've been following the podcast regularly, will already know we gave this our Game of the Year for 2018. And not only that, we thought it was the best artwork as well.
We did.
So, probably not going to be an awful lot of surprises in this review.
But nonetheless, we'll do the formal introductions.
Absolutely.
This is Koi, published by Smirk Laughter Games, which is the more family-centric branch of Smirk and Dagger Games. It is designed by Bill Lasek and features artwork by Christy Freeman.
So, without further ado, let's have a look more into that presentation. So the first thing that strikes us about this game is obviously its gorgeous box art right here. Yep. Very reminiscent of old Japanese style art.
Yeah, beautiful watercolours, very gentle colour palette, very zen look to it.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to explore this game just by looking at it.
So let's crack it open.
So, good first impression from the box art, but what the hell is this?
Yeah, they've put adverts all over the side.
So this might seem like quite a trivial thing to complain about, but games like Ice Cool, You've Got Crabs, Cerberus, they spring to mind, and we live in an age where even the box is a component within a lot of games, and when you see something like this, especially with how beautiful the artwork is, it's a little bit disappointing.
That being said, a very minor gripe in the grand scheme of things, and as we go through everything else, it looks beautiful. We've got the manual there,
nicely
full colour,
illustrated, full colour, little round summary at the back.
Double-sided board as well.
And as is probably illustrated just there, with the fact that some of the cards were a bit all over the place, it's not the best box insert, but it serves its purpose.
Indeed.
You've got a slot for the cards. You've got, the game itself came with plenty. We've obviously punched this one out. It's a copy we've used quite a bit, but it comes with plenty of space to store your components, and they come with plenty of little Ziploc bags to keep everything in.
The components themselves as well are very nice.
Yeah, so
very thick cardboard for any of the cardboard punches. There's a nice little blossom there.
You've got lily pads, also cardboard, and you've got first player token here, which is a nice big sort of lotus, I think that is.
Go with lotus.
Yeah. And then you've got a couple of wind tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Pebbles, which are used in the game, they represent stones or rocks. You got little frog meeples.
Get a little dragonflies. This is what we're going to be chasing after.
I think as far as components go, I think this is easily my favourite. The little fish meeples. So they're all different.
Wait a minute. Feeple?
Feeple.
Feeple.
We're going with feeple.
Feeple.
But what's really good about these is not only do you have different colours, and they are all coloured on naturally occurring koi breeds, if you can say that, because they're sort of
koi breeds, yeah.
genetically engineered. But you know what I mean. They're all designed from actual koi, but they've all got different patterns on them as well. So it does mean that if you have trouble discerning the colours, you can at least discern the patterns.
Yeah, when we saw this, actually, it was Meeples Like Us who came to mind. So we'd love it if we'd love to hear from them as to how accessible they feel this game is.
Yeah, it's one that we felt that was very accessible, and we'll expound upon that a bit more when we talk about gameplay. But the other thing that's worth talking about is the quality of the cards that come with the game. They've
Yeah.
got a nice sort of linen texture to
Yeah,
them.
very good, very high quality card stock.
The colour is consistent throughout, because one of the
Mhm.
things that I've noticed in a lot of games of late is that sometimes the colours are slightly off.
Yeah,
across
depending
all
on
the
how
cards.
they've been printed.
Not a problem here, but what I think is especially impressive is the weather cards, because you've got a fair amount in there, but they all boast unique artwork.
And it's fantastic as well. One of the greatest strengths of the art in this game is just how consistent it is, both in terms of look and feel and in quality as well.
Absolutely, and it's the kind of artwork that I would actually like to have prints of. Like you would display that on your wall, and you would not think that it's from a board game.
Exactly.
It is beautiful artwork in its own right.
So I think in terms of presentation, we are almost flawless.
Almost
frankly.
flawless, except for the adverts.
Welcome to our peaceful koi pond. Yes, so leading on from the frankly excellent presentation of this game, we have the theme itself.
Yep, so you are a koi in a pond in presumably a Japanese garden. I'd say so.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
yeah. I mean, certainly the art style, as we said, lends itself towards those ancient Japanese paintings, and this very much feels like we are a part of that painting.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we'd said when we first started talking about koi on the podcast was it feels like you're directly interfacing with a piece of art, which, as wanky as that sounds, it's kind of true. You know, you do feel as though you're, like you say, like you're in one of those ancient paintings, and the game, because of its theme, has a very zen feel to it, despite how competitive it can get at times.
Yes. I've talked about the Mario Kart theory.
Yeah.
Those who haven't heard, the Mario Kart theory goes, the more peaceful or happy a game presents itself, the more infuriated I will get with it.
Yeah.
And this made me swear within 5 minutes of playing this game.
Yep, it definitely did. But
in a really good way, though.
Yeah, like angry in a good way.
Yeah.
But I mean, with regards to the rest of the aspects of the theme, I love animals. I always had fish when I was a little boy, so there's a little bit of nostalgia there for me.
Yeah.
Also, if I'm truthful, a little bit of a weeaboo here, so that definitely helps.
Ticks a box.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, top marks for theme as well.
Yeah, but leading off of your comments about the Mario Kart effect, let's take a look at the gameplay itself.
Yes. So Ben, how do we play koi?
So, movement is driven by cards in this game, and you can play as many cards as you want in a turn. The objective of the game is to make the most points. And
Shocker.
You get the most points by eating dragonflies or frogs. Dragonflies are worth 3 points and frogs are worth 1.
Because we all know that dragonflies taste a lot better than frogs do.
Absolutely. That's coming from 2 frogs. There you go. So, to briefly demonstrate, I've got my movement card here. What you do is you read it from the bottom upwards. So in this example here, I go forward, and then I've got a turn. So I'll play it out here. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I've got a little turn there. So I get that dragonfly. It goes in my bank, and then at the end of the day, there are 7 turns in the game. They're called days here. But at the end of the day, we count up how many points we have, and then we advance the scoring track. The first day there are no weather effects, but from the second day onwards you flip over a weather card and you resolve those weather effects.
Rain, much like Glasgow.
That's it. So we're feeling right at home here. And that is pretty much how you play the game.
There really isn't actually anything else to it. Other than that,
you replenish your hand at the end of each turn. I think each player gets 3 cards, unless you've got specific weather effects that feed into that.
There's some cards that let you, for example, play some Cherry Blossom. That'll move things around in the pond.
Put the Cherry Blossom down, it displaces everything directly away from it. You've got lily pads that allow you to spawn extra dragonflies at each turn. And you've got rocks that allow you to go full Donald Trump and keep those filthy immigrant koi out. But other than that, that's pretty much how you play koi.
As simple as that.
Yeah. This game, I've seen it mistakenly described as an action programming game,
Which to me would makes me think of games like Colt Express.
Exactly, where with action programming, you secretly pick what you're doing. It goes face down, and then all players reveal it once, and then you execute whatever action you have there. This is action programming in so much as a game like Gloomhaven is action programming. You do have cards; they do somewhat restrict what you can do, but you play a card at a time, and then you resolve those steps. So, not action programming. And just to emphasise that, when I played this with some of the guys at Aircon, when I took it down there, Dave hates programming games, but he liked koi. So it's definitely not an action programming game. I've thought about how I would describe it.
Alright.
I would describe it as an arena-based battle royale style collectathon.
An arena-based battle royale style collectathon.
It's a bit like if
Simple.
Mario Kart Battle Royale mode, remember that one?
Ah, yeah, with the balloons.
If Mario Kart Battle Royale mode and Chinese checkers had a baby, and then later on in life that baby underwent some sort of medical procedure to become a fish-like entity, then you would have koi.
There we go.
It's a much more eloquent description than action programming.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, much more concise.
But it does play like a dream.
Yeah, on a serious note, every game of koi is different thanks to these weather cards and thanks to the fact that, players are going to all play it differently. Everyone's got a different play style. There's never a game of koi that feels too short or too long. It seems to always just be the right length.
Absolutely.
And the fact that it's got a double-sided board helps with that. So it means that this board here we've got set up for a 1 or 2 player game, but on the other side it's for 3 and 4 players. So it means that the game always scales very well.
Yeah. And equally, there's never a runaway winner syndrome either. Every game has felt really tight that we've ever played.
Because what happens is when you've got a good amount of cards and you're able to grab quite a few dragonflies, what inevitably happens, and it feels quite fitting, is that your koi is more or less exhausted.
It's so full.
Yeah, you're so full.
So full of dragonfly.
You can't move. You've got other things like when all the dragonflies disappear, it causes a flood that displaces all of the players to the edge of the board. So it's a good way of resetting things if things aren't going your way. You can use frogs to get rid of dragonflies if there's someone that's lined up to get a whole ream of them, and that it's always great seeing the look on someone's face when you drop a tactical frog down in front.
I love me a tactical frog.
Oh yeah, who doesn't? And the weather cards.
Yeah.
Not only do they really add to the game, they're a really elegant way of keeping track of the turn.
Yeah. I get flawless as far as I'm concerned for gameplay.
So 7 days in a week, 7 rounds in koi. First round is no weather cards, and then thereafter you're flipping a weather card over for each turn. Brilliant, elegant design.
So we now come to the most important part of any review of a board game that we do, and that is the Trina Test.
So for those of you who are not aware, the Trina Test is where we take a game that we're going to be reviewing and we get a middle-aged woman with little to no interest in gaming to play it. Namely, my mother.
There we have it.
Yeah.
So, how did Koi do?
Koi did exceptionally well in the Trina Test. Not only did she love the visuals, the gameplay she really enjoyed. I was able to teach her to play the game within about 5-10 minutes, and then she was off. And she actually did exceptionally well, considering it was her first game. But the most important question that I ask whenever we do these tests is, at the end of everything, would you play it again?
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's really what it comes down to with a game, isn't it? And she said she would happily play it again, which I was quite surprised by.
Excellent.
So I think suffice to say that our findings from the Trina test is that this game is very easy to teach, very easy to learn, and it has a universal appeal.
Excellent. So, Ben, what's the verdict?
I love this game.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Right from the way it plays to the artwork itself, everything just comes together brilliantly.
Yeah. I mean, we'd said earlier, this was our pick for Game of the Year for 2018. We also gave it Best Art in a Game for 2018.
Aye.
We have played quite a few games that came out in 2018 since, that we never got the chance to when it came to the selection process. But we remain pretty confident in our choice for Game of the Year with Koi.
Yeah, absolutely. And at a price point of £35?
£35. It's an absolute
it's a bargain. Yeah, absolutely.
Masterpiece of design by Bill Lasek, and it boasts some of the most stunning artwork, so hats off to Christy Freeman for her efforts here.
In summary, guys, we couldn't recommend it enough.
No, very accessible game, universal appeal. The only people that I've seen that have like a serious issue with this game are people that tend towards sort of drier, more complex games. Which they make up like that amount of the market really. But we said earlier that we would quite like to see Michael from Meeple Like Us do an accessibility teardown.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you think.
It was something that came up when I played it with the Tabletop Scotland guys, was that, like we mentioned earlier with the Koi, not only are they all different colours, but the patterns are all different. The level of literacy required to play this game is minimal, because all of the cards have got pictures on them, and the movement, it's just symbols that you work by. So it's really just one player reading out weather cards at the start of each turn.
So, and not only do we want to hear from Michael, we want to hear from you as well. Have you had a chance to play Koi? What do you think? Did we get it right for Game of the Year? I think so.
I think so.
Blow our own trumpets a bit. But anyway, guys, that's all we've got time for. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in, and until next time, take care.